You've made a little bit of news yourself today. So I want to start, Anna, by playing this clip from Young Turks today. And I'm going to ask you to break down the details. There's a lot to get into. So let's go ahead and roll S0. Anna talking about her experience at home today on the Young Turks.
Do you think it was appropriate for you to try to sick your dog on me?
I did not.
Do you think that was appropriate to sick your dog at me? You sicked your dog at me.
I told you to stay away from me because my dog is barking.
Was that appropriate? Was it appropriate for you?
Was it get away from me?
Look at
Dude, can I talk to you?
No. Why did you try to sick your dog at me?
I told you to get away from me.
Because you don't like my political views?
I told you to get like this.
Psycho.
I told you to stop following me.
Now you're acting different because you're being recorded,
right? Get away from me. I told you to get away from me. I told you my dog is barking.
Why did you
I said stop stalking me.
Why did you try to
yelling
sick your dog at me? Why did you sick your dog at me?
No.
Oh, now you're a victim after you tried to sick your dog at me and my dog.
Come back and attack me.
No. You called her a Jew hater.
You called me a Jew hater?
Wait.
Go ahead.
You're trying to get me fired.
No, I did not. I said I'm telling everybody about her.
Oh, that's what she just said.
You said that you're trying to get my husband fired.
Everybody's trying to get him fired.
Exactly. Yeah, you're part of that, everybody.
Be careful. That woman's dangerous. She tried to sick that dog at me. She tried to sick that dog at me and my dog. That's what she tried to do. That's what she tried to do. She tried to sick her dog at me and my dog because she doesn't like my political views, because I don't like a genocidal government.
So, Anna, you broke down some of this with Cenk, and folks should go over to Young Turks and watch that conversation. But give us a little bit of the who, what, when, where background of the story that was obviously you with your husband. Tell us more.
I actually wasn't with my husband initially. So, we split the responsibilities with walking the dog. And so this morning I took the dog out for a walk by myself, and this is something that's important to know about me. I go as early in the morning as I can because I don't want to talk to anybody. Right. I have so much going on and I got to get back to work. So I take the dog for a walk. I have my headphones in, which I shouldn't do. I'm now realizing, but I live in a neighborhood, it's not on a busy street. So I wasn't thinking about it. Anyway, I'm walking the dog, no problem at all. And suddenly I'm on a street where there's a woman with her dog, and I recognize her. I've seen her around before. I don't know her name. I've never spoken to her, but since she looked familiar to me, I didn't see her as a threat initially, but she's standing in the middle of the sidewalk, blocking the sidewalk with her dog. She's literally standing there with a wide stance, almost come for me. But her dog is going nuts. And I don't really think much of it. What's going through my mind at that moment is, oh, that looks like a younger dog. She's probably still training it. And she was giving me this menacing look, but I thought maybe it's not menacing. Maybe she's just annoyed that her dog is kind of being unruly, right? So I decide I want to avoid that whole situation. Plus she's blocking the sidewalk. So I don't even speak to her. I literally just go around. I walk onto the street and I go around her, or at least I attempt to. But as I'm doing that, she starts coming at me with her dog as it's barking and going wild. And my dog is a little 20-pound dog. So his name's Charlie. And Charlie I wish he was a little more brave, but he's not. So he's skittish and he's freaking out. And I'm so at that point I take my headphones out and I'm well, what's going on? What are you doing? And then she calls me a Jew hater because I'm very critical, aggressively so, about a foreign government, Israel. Okay. And I don't apologize for that. I never will. I have seen what's been going on in Gaza. I have condemned in the most aggressive possible way what Hamas did on October 7th. I'm not a Hamas supporter. I've gotten a lot of hate from some on the left because of the fact that I don't see them as freedom fighters. But it doesn't matter. You can be as critical of Hamas as you want. If you are critical of the foreign nation state of Israel, you're automatically considered a Jew hater. So when she called me a Jew hater, I'm wait, hold on. And I tried to have a conversation with her at first. I was there's a misunderstanding. I'm not a Jew hater. And then she brings up, oh, you were rubbing your hands and making fun of the Jews.
Right.
So she was referencing a video that was intentionally cut out of context. It took out the part where I'm obviously and specifically talking about Larry Ellison saying that he wants to surveil Americans 24/7, so we're all on our best behavior. And then after I do what I thought was just a villain impression, Cenk and I talk about how this is not representative of Jewish people overall. Okay. Do not let the actions of Larry Ellison make you think that it is indicative of how Jews across the globe in America are. Okay.
So literally in that moment, it was like you almost anticipated what was going to come, even though you made it clear.
Emily, the thing that people really don't understand if they don't watch TYT regularly is that on a regular basis, I say we are critical of the Israeli government, not even the Israeli civilians, regardless of what the polling says, right? The polling from Israel says that the majority of them are totally in favor of what's happening in Gaza. I still don't care. They're civilians, and I am never going to develop a hatred for an entire group of people, whether it be Israelis or it's Jewish people. That's just not who I am, okay? I work for a Turkish man as an Armenian woman, because I'm able to separate the acts of a government from an entire group of people. Cenk is a good person. I'm not going to reference what Turkey did to Armenians in 1915 as an excuse to hate Turks overall. That's stupid, right?
You hate Cenk for who he is, not for his background.
Listen, Cenk is
He's a great
strong
guy.
Turkish coffee. You either love it or hate it. Okay, let's just put it that way. But anyway, so like I eventually lose my patience because she's like screaming at me, and I'm trying to explain to her it was taken out of context. It's part of this very organized campaign by Canary mission. And eventually, like I lost my patience because I realized, oh no, this woman totally supports what Israel is doing. That's what this is about. And so at this point, like, I just want to get my dog away from her and her dog, because my dog is small and I want to get him to safety. And as I'm walking away, she says something along the lines of, good luck to your husband dealing with you. And I was like, my husband loves me. And she says, yeah, that's why we're trying to get him fired. So for me, that moment clicked because I realized, oh my God, she's not some random lone wolf who decided to attack me because she doesn't like my political views. She's very much involved with the whole Canary mission campaign to not just go after me. That's one thing. But to go after my husband, who's not a political person at all, doesn't work in politics, doesn't work in news, doesn't even like to comment on politics. He's honestly not interested in it. He's an athletic kind of guy, right? And so they've been on this campaign for months now to try to get him fired. And there have been demands for him to release a statement condemning me because of my political views. Obviously, he refused to do that. That's my husband. And so they're relentless. They won't give up. And so once she said that, I called my husband. I'm on my way back to my place to drop off the dog. And he wants to know, who is this woman? I want to see who she is. And I wanted to get video of her because I wanted to, and I'm going to tonight after this, file a police report because she was literally sticking her dog at me. Okay. Like Charlie could have gotten hurt, whatever. I could have gotten hurt too, but I care very little about that. I care way more about my dog. And then she threatened my husband, right?
Right.
So after I drop off Charlie, me and my husband, Christian, go downstairs. She's standing in the same place. And that was when I recorded the video that we watched. And in the video, by the way,
she was standing in the same place, Anna? That's a little odd.
Well, now I'm a little
lingering.
worried that she's been keeping an eye on me, knows when I'm usually walking the dog, and was waiting for me, right?
Right.
And she also confirmed in the video, she's like, yeah, a lot of people are trying to get him fired, meaning my husband. So that confirms that what I was saying is true. And now I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm probably going to walk around with a body cam. I'm probably going to, have a weapon of some sort to protect myself. That woman was totally unhinged.
Right. And it's unsettling if you're somebody who's expressing your political views and doing political news coverage in the public eye, that somebody is standing on the sidewalk relatively close to where you live during your morning routine, threatening your husband, potentially threatening your dog, tell us about the Canary mission aspect of all of this, because people who haven't followed closely Canary mission and the campaign to discredit American critics of the most recent Israeli war might not understand how important that part of this story is.
They're thugs. I think that's the best way to think of Canary mission. They're literally thugs who bully Americans who are critical of Israel. And the really unfortunate thing about Canary mission is that their thuggish behavior tends to work when it comes to, activists who don't have like a massive following. They don't have a massive platform. And so they're unable to do what I did today in terms of putting this woman on blast for what she tried to do in sicking her dog against me and my dog. And these people lose their jobs, right? Whether it's activists, whether it's people, there's a story that Cenk and I are going to do later this week where they are targeting people who simply have a Palestinian flag in their social media profile as anti-Semites. How is that anti-Semitic? And they're like, regular dehumanization of Palestinian civilians is somehow totally okay. But criticism of Israel as a government, Israel's government, is not okay, right? You deserve to lose your livelihood. You deserve to have your safety threatened. It's unacceptable. Even if she hates my political views, that's totally fine. That is her right. But to attack me, to try to assault me because you don't agree with my political views is beyond the pale. And I want to say is illegal, but do I think that the police are going to do anything about this? No. I mean, there was an American journalist who was just attacked. Actually, he claims that the IDF led him and a group of Palestinian farmers into an ambush by violent Israeli settlers. And when he reached out to the, American embassy in Israel about it, they're like, sorry, there's nothing we can do to help you. So, yeah, go ahead.
Well, no, I was just going to say, it actually reminds me a lot, as somebody on the right, it reminds me a lot of what the Southern Poverty Law Center did for a very long time until their, quote, hate lists were discredited. It's not to say that everybody on the SPLC's hate watch is, unhateful. Of course, they have some legitimately bigoted and hateful people on the list, but they would get people categorized. They're just normal, Christian conservatives who people can disagree with, but who are not actual hate groups in the way that most people think of them, immediately discredited by putting them on a list. And when I see what Canary Mission does, it's so similar to me that it sounds innocuous on the surface. Everybody wants to fight anti-Semitism. Everybody sort of wants to know who the actual anti-Semites are and make sure that they're not, as they're navigating this very complicated media landscape, consuming that type of content unknowingly. And it ends up, though, laundering that reputation of innocuousness in order to target people like you, Anna, who are very clear about disowning anti-Semitism, as you did in that segment, that you were targeted over and over again. I was actually surprised. I don't know about you. You get this all the time, but I was surprised that segment went viral, to be honest. But you've been on the other end of that.
Well, okay, so it went viral because when I was doing this, I was imitating Larry Ellison as a villain, right?
Right.
Now, keep in mind, I'm nearly 40 years old. I'm a woman, and I don't spend any time on 4chan. I have dabbled with Kiwi Farms a little bit, but on very specific forums.
That's like going straight to heroin. That's like just skipping weed and going straight to heroin.
It's true. But I follow very specific topics. So I didn't know what what is it called? The meme. Yeah.
I don't know what it's called.
There's a racist, disgusting, anti-Semitic meme, right? Yep. That I had seen on X here and there, but I didn't know that it was a thing, right? Happy Merchant, that's what it's called.
Yep.
And so they accused me of doing the Happy Merchant meme. And I'm like, I don't know what that is. And then when they showed, one of my friends actually showed me the image. I'm like, no, I would never in a million years do that. And who in media who actually has a career and is serious about it would be stupid enough to try to launder that disgusting meme? Seriously. I mean, first of all, it's wrong. Obviously, I have a moral issue with it, but also just strategically, is that a smart idea? Is that something I would do? I would never do that, but it doesn't matter. That's why it went viral. It was taken out of context. And It was all over the internet. I didn't know what to do because once that happens, you have no control over the narrative. And the more you try to defend yourself, it feels like you're just digging yourself in a deeper hole.
It goes to this question of definition inflation that I think you've experienced a lot, which is, again, on the right, I saw this happening for years in I think a pretty anti-Christian way, with like the Family Research Council getting on the SPLC watch list and then someone trying to shoot people at the Family Research Council. And this was, I think that was like 2012. It was around that time frame. But it's really, really dangerous. It's not a joke. It's why I don't think it's right for people on the right to talk about baby killers unless someone literally killed a baby, or as Elise Stefanik did in the last couple of days to call Zohran Mamdani a jihadist. You're inflating the definition of terms that mean one thing to society in a way to implicate people in really, really terrible behavior that you just think is a consequence of their rhetoric, not that you think they're directly involved in. This, to me, Anna, seems like a really dangerous inflation of anti-Semitism and bigotry targeting people like you who are merely critical, as you say, of a foreign government. And it feels very dangerous.
Well, it is dangerous. And, I like that you're bringing up, the Southern Poverty Law Center and other lists that for the longest time mostly focused on targeting the right. Because as that was happening, I personally, and I want to apologize for where I used to stand on it. I used to trust those lists, right?
Yeah.
And I think a lot of people do. I'll give you an example of someone who landed on a list recently, fairly recently, and it was disgusting and wrong. And that was a journalist by the name of Jesse Singal. I don't know if you guys are familiar with him, but in 2018, he wrote a very lengthy and nuanced piece about youth gender medicine. And it was very balanced. It talked about how for some minors, transitioning was very beneficial, but for others it wasn't. And the big question was, is there enough research into this, or are we rushing kids into it? Right.
Yep.
He got listed in some weird GLAAD, anti-LGBT transphobe list. And I'm like, wait, hold on. I listen to this guy's podcast every week. And he's so careful and so nuanced. And obviously he comes from a place of humanizing and understanding the humanity of everyone involved. He's not at all transphobic. And so that was the first moment that I woke up and I was like, these lists are total BS. And unless you're going to do the legwork and really research the people on the list to understand whether or not they're really what they're accused of being, don't trust the list. Just don't.
No, it's such a good point. And Jesse obviously hosts Blocked and Reported with Katie Herzog, who's a lesbian, and has went to great pains in that Atlantic article, which was vindicated, aged like a fine wine, to be compassionate and just absolutely relentless in the data, the accuracy of the data. So it's crazy how these lists just prey on people's desire to understand what's happening in the world around them. And people end up getting suppressed, censored, corporations end up donating based on SPLC lists and all of that. It really, really, really sucks. I have been clear about this. Speaking of people just being open and honest about their positions, I'm not just pro-birth, I'm pro-life. And being pro-life means standing with mothers not only before their baby is born, but then long after. And that's exactly why I partner with Preborn and partner proudly with Preborn. Preborn does not just save babies, they make motherhood abundantly possible. They provide free ultrasounds and share the truth of the gospel with women in crisis, and then they stay with real practical help, including financial support for up to 2 years after the baby is born. This is what true Christ-centered compassion looks like, not just for the baby, but for the mother too. And here's where you can make a difference. Just $28 provides a free life-saving ultrasound, one chance for a mother to see her baby, and when she does, she's twice as likely to choose life. Preborn is trying to save 70,000 babies this year. So don't just say you're pro-life, live it, help save babies, and support mothers today. Go to preborn.com/Emily or call 855-601-2229. That's preborn.com/Emily.